The United Nations headquarters has been located in New York, New York for 70 years. Some are reporting the UN military has moved into Ottawa, Canada, coming down on the citizens protesting peacefully. Has the United Nations invaded North America? What could this mean for Bible prophecy? Let's talk about it. Welcome to End of the Age. I'm Vince Stegall here with Doug Norvell. We're so delighted that you have joined us today. We have quite an interesting show prepared, so if you're on Facebook or YouTube, hit the share button, hit the heart icon. It'll help us out, help us in getting the message out. If you're on the radio, call a friend, let them know to tune in. We're broadcasting on the radio all around the United States, and I think we're on a few stations internationally as well. And so if you ever have an issue with censorship or getting things to load properly, see if we're on your local station. So, Doug, the UN stuff is, if it couldn't have got any weirder, it's getting a little more weirder, at least potentially getting weirder, I should say.
Yeah. So we're really just kind of posing the question today. We're not saying that UN forces were there. We're hearing a lot of reports about this, and that's one of the things. If you live in Canada today and you have information to tell us, to share with us, give us a call today and let us know. If you're boots on the ground there and you know what's going on, tell us. But here's what we know. We know for fact that world government is coming. We know that in Revelation 13 it tells us a world government's coming, that an Antichrist is going to make war against the saints, the people of God, and anyone else who goes against his new world order and the plan that they have. And so are we watching this play out, Vince? We're seeing it in Australia, in New Zealand, and now, in our own back door in Canada, across the border. I don't know, would that be our front door or our back door, because they're north of us. So right across the border from us, we're watching this happen. And there's been a lot of strange things that have been coming out of Canada lately. A lot of stories that you would think, surely that's not true, but then when you look it up, it's true what's happening. So it's very, very weird.
Well, it's, we talked a little bit about it last week, and what Trudeau and his team are doing.
Yeah.
I don't know that we ever thought we'd see that in that part of North America.
No.
And here we are, and freezing bank accounts of citizens that aren't lining up because they're being unruly. It's like quite unbelievable.
Yeah, it's very strange to see that kind of dictatorship be pressed down, and it's really odd. I hope that we get to a lot of this program today because of the fact that there's so much weird stuff happening there, and then we've got people in our own country that are saying, oh yeah, we agree with what Trudeau is doing there. So it's interesting, but I guess to kind of let people know what we're talking about, we got a couple of clips. Do we want to show that before the break?
Well,
want to go there?
Yeah, we have 5 minutes.
All right, let's do that. Let's look at the video that people have taken of these planes on the ground in Canada.
Hello guys, it's Jose. I'm in North Bay reporting on this really cold day. And I just noticed here, because a lot of people were saying that maybe they were UN troops. Here you go. Notice the second airplane? Sorry. That looks suspicious.
Well, I seen a video online, so I thought I'd come checking out for myself, and here we go. United Nations plane right here in North Bay. I wonder where all those cops in Ottawa came from. And there's no snow on it, it just snowed last night.
Yeah. So pretty interesting there, Vince, that we've got these airplanes on the ground that are UN airplanes, and like the guy made a comment there in the video, showing the airplane. He said there's no snow on it. They just had fresh snow all over the ground last night. No snow on this airplane. So obviously the plane hasn't been sitting there for a long time, or it would have snow and ice built up on it like your vehicle would if it was exposed to the elements like that. We also got some pictures of.
Well, but before we do, sorry, you know, I
Sure.
look at clips like that and I go, well, is that trustworthy?
Right.
You know, are we getting the truth? Or are these some wackos out there that have photoshopped it or edited it in some way?
Yeah.
You know, they don't have the big news organization logo in their video.
Right.
So should they be trusted?
I don't know. Can we trust the big news media organizations anymore, Vince?
Well, it's funny you say anymore.
Yeah, it is kind of funny.
But,
that I say anymore.
you know, I mean, people, you know, because, you know, like we see these fact checkers all over social media.
Yeah.
And they go, oh, well, Biden did say that word that you're not supposed to say, but he said it in the midst of a bunch of other words. And so they make up these things, and it's like, so, you know, it's not entirely true, but there's some truth in there somewhere, and we're going to let you figure out what it is.
Yeah.
And so they just kind of make it where, unless it's a source that they have approved,
Yeah, absolutely.
they're going to deem it as misinformation or not the full truth. And so we just have some random citizens
Right.
showing us videos of this stuff.
Yeah.
Now, that doesn't mean that there's UN troops, of course. They're just showing some airplanes.
Right.
But is it something that can be trusted? I guess that's what we need to figure out. Like, that's what each person needs to decide. You know, can I trust just somebody like me or you going out there and recording a video with their phone?
Well, hopefully you can trust us.
Well, I trust you.
All right, I trust you too.
But
And here's the deal. That's why I
you
said
interrupted
today.
me
I'm
when
sorry.
I said but I trust you, but, and you interrupt me, so I won't finish what I was going to say.
Well, I
Leave
appreciate-
everybody wondering.
I know you trust me, but
I do.
that's why we're saying today that we're not saying that this is what's happening. We're saying this is what's reported, what people are reporting, because we want you to understand that this is a possibility, and we want people to see that. So I think we're up against a break here in a minute. No, we got time. Let's look at those pictures real quick. These are pictures of the actual police officers. They're wearing like a army green uniform with no markings on them. They have no name tags. They don't say police on there anywhere you can see them. They've got helmets. They've got masks on, billy clubs, and these green outfits like jumpsuits. So there's no markings on there, and this is another reason why people are saying these are not our normal police, and this is not our normal police gear. So who are these guys? As we get down into some of these articles where people are saying some things about this situation, that's why I was saying, if you know anything, if you're boots on the ground in Canada and want to call us today, today's your day to let us know what's going on.
And we'll take anybody's call, but specifically people from Canada, whether you live there now or maybe you grew up there and you'd like to share some perspective, we'd certainly appreciate it. The number to join us is 877 Endtime, 877-363-8463. Stay tuned. We got some more video clips that you will definitely want to see, and some stories that are totally unbelievable. So we'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Judy Baxter. When Irvin and I got married, we didn't realize that our calling would be a prophetic ministry. Since we started Endtime Ministries, there have been many times we weren't sure how we would pay the bills, but God has always provided. We started with a magazine, then went on radio and TV, and now we have the Jerusalem Prophecy College in Israel and online and End of the Age Plus. The mission has always been to reach people with the gospel of Jesus Christ and the end time message. Through the years, my husband would say, we will see revival like never before in the last days. We are living in the end time now. Thank you for walking this journey with us and continuing in prayer. You are a part of the team. Thank you for your generous support. It is necessary for God's purpose. The most important thing is that you are ready when the Lord comes. Our hope is to help prepare you for that day. God bless you, and we love you.
Major internet companies are silencing and censoring Christian voices online. These companies are trying to control what you see and hear. Almost 200 videos of ours have been marked as restricted online right now. That's why we launched End of the Age Plus, a platform where the truth won't be censored, a platform where we can preach the message of the gospel. When you subscribe to End of the Age Plus today for just $12.99 a month, you can watch all of our content in a secure, easy-to-view way from your favorite device. When you go to watch.endtime.com and subscribe, you'll get instant access to all of our teaching resources, including Revelation, the Unveiling of Jesus Christ, Understanding the End Time, End Time Magazine, and so much more. We will not censor our message to comply with what the world deems as politically correct. Go to watch.endtime.com right now or search End of the Age Plus in the App Store or Google Play.
Welcome back to End of the Age. We have open lines at 877 End Time, 877-363-8463. Doug, today is a special day. It's February 22nd, 2022.
Yeah.
2/22/22.
And it's Tuesday.
And it's Tuesday,
Yeah.
Which is extremely corny, but that's what people are calling it now because it's this 2/22/22 on Tuesday. I say it's one of the most interesting dates since 11/11/11. So we thought we better do something in alignment with this special day. And you can go to watch.endtime.com, and for the first 222 people, you will get the End of the Age Plus subscription for 2 months for only $2.22 per month.
Wow.
So
That's a good deal.
that's actually quite ridiculous, but it is what it is at this point.
And you get
$2,
access to everything we have.
everything. $2.22 at watch.endtime.com. Here's the thing. It's only available today on this special day. And also, it's only available to the first 222 people who do it. So it might not last for 2 more minutes, Doug.
I see what you did there. That's good.
I thought you would.
There you go. I hope you told customer service.
They know.
Okay,
they know. You can go to watch. Yeah, don't call in. This is a digital subscription. It's our version of Netflix or Amazon Prime. You need to go to watch.endtime.com and do it yourself on your phone, tablet, or computer. And I think there's a coupon code you'll have to use, which is listed there on the website right on the homepage. And it is 22, TWO, and the number 2. But you can just click that link right there on watch.endtime.com and take part of this special deal for today only, or for the first 222 people. All right. I guess we should also tell them there's a conference coming up this weekend. Just in Texas. Dave and Jana will be there. It's on Saturday at 6 p.m. and Sunday at 10 a.m. Dave's going to be talking about the Antichrist Socialistic Kingdom and breaking prophecy news. You can learn more about the venue for that event and additional details at endtime.com/events, or you can call 800-ENDTIME. All right. Doug, we are talking about a very serious thing with the UN. There's a lot of speculation with what's going on in Canada. Some are saying UN troops are in Canada. Some have suggested, I've seen this, that these may not even be humans in those soldier outfits, that maybe they're robots.
Oh, my.
Some have suggested that they're taking pills, and there's all sorts of thoughts on what could be going on, and this kind of always happens when there's events like that.
Oh, yeah.
We're not suggesting that any of those things are true. We're posing a question because it is quite interesting that there's UN planes there, which, I mean, we have no reason to doubt that's true at this point.
Right.
We've seen video footage from individual cell phones that they took of UN planes, and then there's soldiers that have unmarked gear on, which doesn't really make sense, because even the UN, when they come in, they have no problem wearing their baby blue helmets with the UN on the side of it.
Right.
So it's like, that doesn't really make sense to me. And so we're posing the question. We know that the UN has been headquartered in New York since 1970, and now there's reported to be troops on the ground in Canada. So what in the world is going on?
Yeah. So, I mean, we don't know what's going on, but we have one of those big name news agencies that have put out a
fact check?
Yeah, a fact check, I guess. That's what I was looking for. It's a news story, and this is from AP News, so the Associated Press.
All right. The Associated Press, and here they post this in the article. The claim is a UN aircraft parked in Ontario, Canada, shows the organization sent troops into Ottawa disguised as Canadian police officers. So that's the claim. Mm-hmm. Then they say AP's assessment, false.
Yeah.
Social media posts are sharing a video showing a UN plane near the North Bay Airport, a city in Ontario, where Voyager Aviation Corp provides aircraft maintenance and charter flights for the UN. The plane has been there for weeks for regular maintenance, a company representative said.
Now, he said it's been there for weeks.
Yes.
In the video footage we saw, there was no fresh snow on the plane.
Well, but they're doing maintenance, you know, like
No,
you got
so
an
they
old
were
truck.
wiping it off.
No, you got an old truck, you got to go out and start it every day and drive it
Yeah.
around a little bit, keep
Okay.
it loose.
Gotcha.
The facts, this is from the article.
The facts.
The recent trucker anti-vaccine protests in Ottawa led to false claims on social media that UN troops were brought in to help police with the self-styled Freedom Convoy. Several Twitter users shared a video filmed at night showing a plane with the UN logo sitting near the North Bay Airport. A person filming the plane from a passing car says, United Nations plane right here in North Bay. I wonder where all those cops in Ottawa came from. UN planes found in North Bay, Ontario. The UN is sending troops into Canada, said another tweet, spreading false information with the video. So they're doubling down on the false information. Mm-hmm. But such reports are false. There we are again. It is false to claim that the UN is deploying or will deploy any troops in Canada. No such activity is happening. That is from Farron Hawk, UN Deputy Spokesman. Sorry, I'm sure I got the name wrong. According to 2021 UN contracts with the aviation company, Voyager Aviation provided regular maintenance on planes and charter flights to the organization.
Yeah.
So there's the explanation.
Yeah, it's just misinformation, disinformation. It keeps happening over and over. But it seems like recently a lot of misinformation or disinformation has been proven to be true when it's been played out a little bit, right? Like, I mean, just yesterday, Bill Gates said something that, you know, a lot of us have been saying all along, is that he said, sadly, Omicron has done a better job than the vaccines. And people that were saying this before, once Omicron comes through and everybody gets it and they're exposed to it, it's going to be like a vaccination and you're going to have the antibodies to fight this off. And that's exactly what Bill Gates said. But when people were saying that before, they were being called conspiracy theorists.
Accounts suspended for a week and different things like that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But Bill Gates said it.
Yeah, so now it's okay.
What is he saying about Canada? Has he said anything?
I don't know if he said anything about Canada, but I know that, you know, he's...
How can we
said a
be
lot of
sure what's
things.
going on there then?
I have no idea.
The Montana Daily Gazette talks about this as well. It says that they're reporting this as fact.
Mm-hmm.
Foreign troops have landed in Ottawa, Ontario, and it's not a pleasant sight. As you read through the information below, it's no surprise that these United Nations troops have been summoned into Canada. I don't know where they're getting this information from,
Right.
but they're reporting this as fact. Trudeau is the worst dictator and needs to be held accountable for these horrendous actions. There's no use in even speaking to these foreign mercenaries. They don't even speak English or French, a telltale sign that something is up. They have no identification on their uniforms.
Yeah. So that comes from the Montana Daily Gazette. And like you said, I don't know where they're getting their sources either, but there it is. Of course, we don't know where AP got their sources either. You know, I haven't fact-checked them. So there you go.
Well, we do have a call from Canada that we want to get to. You can join us on the show today as well. The number to join us is 877-Endtime, 877-363-8463. We're talking about, is the UN invading North America? We see them all over the place, and now there's reports of what they're doing in Canada, and so we're just kind of looking at that information, looking at what it might mean to Bible prophecy, and now we have a call from someone actually in Canada Annie, welcome to End of the Age.
Hello there, how are you?
We are well. How are you?
Praise the Lord, I'm doing very well.
Good. What part of Canada are you in?
I'm in Calgary,
Okay.
Alberta, and I did see through the internet, through live feeds, what was happening in Ottawa. For the 3 weeks that the police did not bother the protesters, the convoy, everything was peaceful. There was no violence. The street was cleaner than they had ever been. Crime was down 90%. And the minute that they called the police or the police actors in, that's when the violence happened. When the convoy people and the protesters and the supporters were there, just standing in front of the police, they were singing songs. They were telling them they loved them. They were giving them flowers. And then the troops would pull one person, grab them, surround them, and then start beating them. I don't know if you've seen those videos.
We've seen some of them.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Well, and so we also know that there was a pastor who went out there and actually just prayed with them and had communion with them, and later was scheduled to go and preach, and he was arrested outside his home before he went there, and he was charged with mischief and inciting, I think, a riot or something. I can't remember what the other charge was.
Pastor Art Podolowski,
Mm-hmm.
and he was going out to the Coutts, Alberta, to strengthen them people and to give them hope and to, just edify them.
Right.
And he's been under constant for the past 10, 15 years, harassment by Jason Kenney, who is the premier of Alberta, and the courts and the cops. He's been arrested multiple times for the crime of having church in the street and feeding the homeless.
Yeah. Yeah, so here's Annie in Canada giving us accounts of what she knows to be true there that's going on. Does this sound like we're moving toward the end time one world government there in Canada?
Well,
like they're pushing for it?
Yes. The whole reason that I can fathom and that other people have fathomed also, why provincially, like that per province, where you would be a state, they're dropping the mandates is because they're going to be implementing a federal ID for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to work, you've got to get it. If you want to be able to travel out of the country, you've got to get it. You want to go shopping, you've got to get it.
Yeah.
Annie, what's that like as a citizen? Have you been there your whole life in Canada?
Yes, I have.
What's it like to see what's going on in your country?
It's surreal, but for me, it's not unexpected. When I saw what Trudeau was doing when he came into office, and if I say it, it's going to sound politically incorrect, and you'll probably get a mark, so I can't talk about it. But it's the same problem you have at the Texas border.
Yeah.
When I started talking about that, my whole family was up in arms. And, what are you saying? You're going to get in trouble. You're going to do this. But we see it happening. Immigration used to be, you want to come to a country? Okay, come. Even if you needed asylum. But you adopt the principles and characteristics of that country. In Canada, we have the ability for you want to practice your own religion, fine. But it wasn't always only one type. It was, you can immigrate from all of these countries and come on down. But now it's only one type of people or this specific region of the other countries can come here and no one else is allowed.
Yeah.
It's the best way I can put it. And so it is surreal. I never hoped to see this, but I know that we're going into the end times. We're there, and so we have anywhere from 7 to 10 years.
That's a good guess.
That is.
I mean, Laudato Si was confirmed by the Pope in May of 2021. And he is going to be confirming or strengthening Laudato Si for the next 7 years. It's also in May 21 is 73 years of the birth of the nation, or the rebirth of the nation of Israel. And from that time, again, a man will have strength in his life and he'll live for 70 years, and is by strength in 80 years.
Annie, we're coming up on a break, and I have one more question I'd really like to ask you. Well, I guess it's two-part. Have you ever had any interaction with police officers in Canada?
Yes, I have, but not because of the protest.
So when you had interaction with those police officers, did they ever wear gear that didn't identify who they were?
Not at all. They could always be identified by their badge and by their name.
So that's not a common practice in Canada to wear unmarked uniforms?
Not. It is illegal for a police officer in Canada, or not lawful, for them not to identify themselves when asked.
All right. Well, Anna, we appreciate your perspective and your call. Hopefully things will work out there in Canada. We'll be praying for you. We have thousands of people from around the world saying we're praying for Canada, and we know
we need all the apostolic prayers we can get, because a lot of people are still sleeping, and unfortunately a lot of Christians are still sleeping.
Yeah.
And they need to wake up, see the handwriting on the wall.
Yep. All right, Annie, thank you so much for your call. We do have a few open lines. You can join us as well. The number to join us is 877-Endtime, 877-363-8463. We're talking about, is the UN invading North America? And we're talking about what's going on in Canada and what that might mean for Bible prophecy. We'd love your perspective if you are in Canada specifically. But if you have a comment or question, otherwise, you're certainly welcome to call.
Whether it's a global pandemic, threat of war, or floundering economies, end-time events are happening around the world every day. How can you have peace in a world of such great uncertainty? With the Endtime magazine subscription, you can gain a deeper understanding of current events and its prophesied repercussions. Endtime magazine's exclusive content and prophetic insight allows you to understand where we are in the end time. It will give you peace when horrific news and events happen. When you subscribe today to Endtime magazine for 12 months for just $19.99, you can have hope for the future because you will understand what the Bible says about the time we are living in. You'll get access to exclusive articles like the prophesied American-Israeli alliance, Endtime do's and don'ts, and could school choice save America? Subscribe for you or a friend right now. Go to endtime.com or call 1-800-ENDTIME. That's 1-800-ENDTIME.
The symbols and prophecies within the book of Revelation have perplexed Christians and unbelievers around the world. In his final work, Revelation, The Unveiling of Jesus Christ Part 2, the late Irvin Baxter unlocks the mystery of the book of Revelation with in-depth analysis and commentary like you've never heard before. These comprehensive study tools, available for $299, will deepen your biblical understanding. Don't miss this special offer. Call 1-800-ENDTIME or go to endtime.com.
If your station only carries the first 30 minutes of End of the Age, go to endtime.com and click the watch button to continue today's broadcast. You can also finish up later by clicking the archive button.
Welcome back to End of the Age. Vince Stegall here with Doug Norvell. I want to remind you that Dave and Jana will be in Justin, Texas this weekend, Saturday at 6 p.m. and Sunday at 10 a.m. Dave will be talking about the Antichrist Socialistic Kingdom on Saturday and breaking prophecy news on Sunday at 10 a.m. And so make plans to be there. We would love for you to come out, meet Dave and Jana, and participate in the conference. You can learn more about the venue and other details at endtime.com/events. I also want to remind you about today being Tuesday, TWO Tuesday. That's what apparently the world is calling it now. And so we are just kind of wanting to tag along and offer you a very special deal for End of the Age Plus. It's our version of Netflix or Amazon Prime or Hulu. You can get on End of the Age Plus and watch basically everything we've ever done. And there's even a digital version of the magazine, and there's sermons from when Irvin Baxter was pastoring for over 30 years. So some of them date back to the 80s. A lot of stuff on there. In fact, there's somebody telling me that coming soon will be a message for the president, the ebook for that, on
Awesome.
Into the Age Plus. So anyway, today, because it's 2/22/22 and the world is calling it Tuesday, we are making 222 subscriptions available for only $2.22 per month. Now that deal's only good for 2 months, and it's only available today. So go to watch.endtime.com and you can get your subscription for only $2.22 per month for 2 months. And you better act fast because it's only available to the first 222 people. So there's that. Doug, back to this UN invading North America. There's another story for talking about how Canada has fallen and how there's troops coming in. I don't know how detailed you want to get into that, but there's a clip that goes along with it.
Yeah, well, in the middle of the article, it kind of talks about what was said. Remember last week we did a story, or actually the first of the month, we did a story on the Great Reset and how Klaus Schwab made a bragging statement that he had infiltrated many cabinets of governments, and that Canada was one of the largest ones. He called out Justin Trudeau, and he said in half of his cabinet. And so since that was leaked, it was 2017 comment on a video, and it was leaked out a few weeks ago. And since that was leaked, and they're talking about how Canada is acting like a one world country already, and Trudeau acting like a dictator, I thought it would be fun to show this video where one of the Parliament members was asked this question specifically. And
Doug, I did want to say, you're the first person I ever heard talk about this.
Really?
Now you read it
about Klaus Schwab?
Yes.
Well, excellent. It's all over the place now.
It is now. I think you brought it up a month ago on Into the Age.
Yeah.
And I hadn't heard about it from any of the news sources, or, I mean, maybe it's been out there. I'm not suggesting that you discovered this and now everyone's talking about it. I mean, maybe that's true. I'm not saying that either way.
I don't know who watches our program.
But I hadn't heard of this until you brought it up, and so now, who all's talking about it? The Daily Wire I saw was talking about it, and just everybody. It's like
Rogan.
Yeah, everybody.
Joe Rogan.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
So it's information that's been out there that's now being talked about mainstream.
Yeah.
But as far as I know, you're the first person I ever heard talk about it.
Well, I just simply saw the news story, and it had come out the day before, and I'm like, we got to talk about this. So anyway, we've got a video where one of the Parliament members are asked this question. It's very interesting to see his reaction to the question. So if we can roll that.
Question commentaire, questions and comments. The Honourable Member for Oshawa.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I listened to my colleague's speech. I had a constituent that wanted me to ask a question about outside interference to our democracy. Klaus Schwab is the head of the World Economic Forum, and he bragged how his subversive WEF, World Economic Forum, has, quoted, infiltrated governments around the world. He said that his organization had penetrated more than half of Canada's cabinet. And I was wondering, in the interest of transparency, could the member please name which cabinet ministers are on board with the WEF's agenda? My concern is the deputy.
Order. I know that the member was in a really good question there, but the audio is really bad and the video is really bad as well. And I apologize. I don't know if the member. Okay, let's try again. The honourable member for Timmins James Bay.
Mr. Speaker, that member was promoting open disinformation. That's not debate. We have to call out disinformation.
We'll get into debate again.
So there, once again,
He seemed to get really nervous for
Yeah.
not hearing what he said.
yeah, but notice how the other guy did hear what the question was, because he said this guy's clearly giving out disinformation, even though we have video clip of Klaus Schwab saying it, and we showed that video a few weeks ago on that program, The Great Reset. So it's interesting at what's going on here, because clearly they know that this was said, and clearly they understand it, but they're calling it misinformation or disinformation, which is a word that they like to use when they know the truth is being spoken. They got to say, no, that's not true. We got to cover this up immediately. So it makes you raise your eyebrows, or at least it makes me raise my eyebrows about it, because I'm like, hey, anything that they say is false, and they want to start cutting people off, and they want to stop your voice, you know there's some truth there.
Mm-hmm. We've got a clip coming up in a moment of Trudeau talking about peaceful protests. We'll get to that in a moment. But first, you know, we've talked about these UN troops being placed in Canada.
Mm-hmm.
Are there UN troops in Canada?
Well, we can't say for sure, but we can present both sides of the argument and let people kind of make their own conclusion there.
That's so dangerous, Doug, allowing people to make their own conclusions.
Right? I mean, come on.
So,
nobody else does that.
But so we can't really say for certain on that.
Right.
We've seen reports on both sides.
Yeah.
But what about Trudeau and world government and all the things?
He's definitely on board with that. And
we know that for sure.
Yeah, we know that for sure.
And pro Great Reset, which means, because they're, again, we talked about this too, like they're not hiding it. Like that's what's been so mind-boggling is they're not saying like these big words that confuse people and trying to hide what they're really trying to do. They're just saying there's going to be a great reset and everything's going to change. Yeah. It's going to be a new way of governing the world. Absolutely. That's what's coming. Yeah. So we know he's down with that.
Yep. He's down with that. He's down with, he's already got the bank accounts frozen for people. But there's other things to this. I want to show the clip first because then we can get into what they're doing. Okay. So let's go ahead and show the clip of Trudeau and what he says.
India today called in Canada's High Commissioner to complain about remarks that you made about the farmers' protests in that country. There's warnings that you've damaged relations between India and Canada. I'd like to get your response to that.
Canada will always stand up for the right of peaceful protest anywhere around the world, and we're pleased to see moves towards de-escalation and dialogue. Canada will always stand up for the right for peaceful protest and for human rights around the world.
Here's what happens to peaceful protesters in Canada. We see those uniformed men that are not marked as police kneeing somebody in the back as they're holding them on the ground. They're beating him up pretty good there as he was peacefully protesting, which Trudeau
Would you rather
says,
have a knee to the back or a horse hoof?
Yeah, because that happened too.
Yeah.
I'm taking the knee to the back over the horse stomping on me.
Yeah.
But that happened as well. And so
but that video of Trudeau, was that from yesterday or last week or?
No, it was from a while back. I don't know how
He had
far,
a beard. He doesn't have a beard now.
Yeah, I don't know how long ago it was, but when India was having some protests by some farmers, and he spoke out against it, obviously. But it's interesting that he says that we support peaceful protests anywhere in the world, just not here in Ottawa or however you say it, in Canada, basically. So now the reason why I wanted to show that clip is because I wanted everybody to understand that since he's put this emergency act forward, he's not only able to freeze bank accounts, Vince, but he can take your property. They want to sell that property now once they take it from you, and even kill your dog.
Kill your dog.
Even kill your dog.
That's quite a statement, and we'll share that story in a moment.
I hope we do, because if we don't, people are going to be, wait, Doug.
Yeah, not my dog. Take my job, take my bank account, but not my dog.
Not my dog.
I didn't know they had country music in Canada, but maybe. The number to call us is 877-Endtime, 877-363-8463. We have some open lines, so give us a call right now. If you're in Canada specifically, we'd love to hear your perspective on what's going on in your country. The number's the same if you're there, 877-Endtime. Let's go to Joe in New York. Joe, welcome to End of the Age.
God bless you guys. How you doing?
We are well. How are you, sir?
Joe.
I physically could be better, but that's secondary because my spirit is at peace at all times. Here's the thing. I just want to do a quick overview. Satan is going to use everything he can.
Joe, your phone's a little staticky today.
Okay.
I don't know.
Let me see if I can move over here away from this. How about now? Is that better?
Go ahead and talk, and we'll see.
The thing of it is that we who are in Christ have to keep praying for these people, these knuckleheads that don't know what they're doing, because
No,
You still with me?
Joe, we're having issues with your deal, and this is not one of those Canadian Parliament situations. We're not trying to block you off, but it is quite fuzzy, and you even cut out a little bit there. So sorry. Maybe we can get your phone situation figured out and bring you back on later on in the show. Doug, I don't want to leave him hanging on the animal thing that you just brought up, though. So while we're maybe working on Joe, should we talk about that first, or you want to hit the...
We can talk about that. Yeah, let's just talk about that first, because it is true what they're saying.
Yeah, you throw that out there.
Yeah,
and then...
yeah. So by law, what they're saying now is if they arrest you, we'll just kind of make it short here, but if they arrest you and you have an animal with you, now remember, a lot of truck drivers travel with animals, particularly dogs. There were pictures of dogs with the article that we had, but in the article it was saying that if you are arrested, they will take your dog into protective custody, and if it takes longer than 8 days, then your dog will be considered relinquished, is the way that they said that, like you give it over to the state.
And the people saying it's Ottawa by law, they're the group that enforces regulations made by the city of Ottawa. So this is only a Ottawa thing. It's not a nationwide. Is that accurate?
That's what I understand.
Okay.
So then they were asked specifically, is this a no-kill shelter that they'll be going to? And they kind of hem-hauled around it, and they said it kind of depends on what definition you use as no-kill, because what we are is a no-suffering shelter. So if you bring an animal in that's old, that can't be adopted, and you leave it there, or you can't get back to it because of legal issues or whatever, they deem if it needs to be put down or not.
Well, and if it's away from its owner, how heartbreaking is that?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I don't know who gets to define these things.
I'm just glad they're talking about dogs and not children at this point.
Well, if they'll take your dog, if you're unfit to own an animal, you're probably unfit to be a parent as well, with these parameters being set. All right, we do have some open lines at 877-Endtime, 877-363-8463. We'll be getting to as many calls as we can after the break, so stay tuned for more.
I've been part of the Endtime family from the beginning over 30 years ago when my parents, Irvin and Judy Baxter, began ministry from the recliner in our living room. My name is Jana Robbins. I have the pleasure of connecting with our incredible partners every day. Endtime is a small nonprofit that runs a high-traffic website, a daily TV and radio show, the Prophecy College in Jerusalem, and more. Although we have less than 30 team members, we are able to serve tens of millions of people each month. We survive on the goodness of God and donations averaging about $50. If everyone hearing this message gave $22, our financial needs would be met for the year. If you only give to one cause per month, please consider partnering with Endtime to help get the message of our soon-coming King out to the world. Call us at 1-800-ENDTIME to give today, or go to endtime.com to become a monthly or one-time partner.
Welcome back to End of the Age. Vince Stegall here with Doug Norvell, taking phone calls in the middle of the show. He is so good that anytime anybody calls, he wants to take their call, serving you all. And so appreciate what you do here at Endtime, Doug, responding to so many emails, so many web forms that are submitted, and so many phone calls. So yeah. What a great service you bring to Endtime and the partners of Endtime Ministries. Yeah. You all probably have talked to Doug at some point if you've ever called into ministry here.
And let me just say, I'm sorry I had to cut that phone call short because we came back on the air, but I've been trying to talk with that gentleman for quite a while, so
yeah, well,
I apologize.
All right, well, we do want to get back to our calls now. Before we do, I want to remind you that we're having a very special deal for End of the Age Plus. For the first 222 people, you can get 2 months of End of the Age Plus for $2.22 per month. And this is all just because today is 2/22/22. So go to watch.endtime.com, and there'll be a link there at the top of the page for you to click, and you can get those 2 months for only $2.22. It's a great opportunity if you've been wondering if you should do this or not. It's our version of Netflix, so you'll be able to stream 24/7 on demand basically every video we've ever done. There's very old stuff on there. There's some stuff that we just didn't have the files, so we couldn't upload it. But everything that we're able to do, we've uploaded there. So you can go binge watch some Jesus. It's a great place to go. And right now, 2 months for $2.22 by going to watch.endtime.com. Again, that's only available for today or the first 222 people. So you should do it as soon as possible because I don't think it will last very long. Let's get to the phones now. Let's go to Pascal in Canada. Pascal, welcome to End of the Age.
Hello, guys.
Hey,
Pascal.
Nice to talk to you guys.
I didn't think you were going to
call.
call.
Very often. I wish I would call out more often, but yeah, I didn't. I saw what you had to say about Canada. I really appreciate you guys taking the time, obviously, to care about what we are living through here, which is pretty crazy. How fast we're getting down to everything that's prophesied, basically. Mm-hmm. But it gives us many opportunities to witness, of course, when we teach end times and people see what's happening. They're really open to any arguments, really, that goes on, like that promotes what they see what's happening, actually. So that's the positive side of it. I guess a lot of people are open to end-time prophecies right now.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to have a quick say, because I was actually there. I didn't go on the last day when all that craziness was going through. I was dressed up to go. I live about a couple hours from there. And basically, the timing, I was watching it online. And the cops had already taken over the city, so I thought, I won't even be able to get there. So I decided to not go that day. I had friends over there that were streaming and stuff like that. But yeah.
So you were actually at the protests before?
Yes. I went every weekend. Basically, I worked during the week, so like the 3 weekends basically. And every weekend basically was getting better and better. Like, and I'm not saying the protesting like in a negative way. Like to us, really, the people that were there, it felt like Canada Day, like a celebration. To me, like the feeling was a mix of end of war celebration and Canada Day, really. That was like everybody were dancing in the streets and celebrating freedom, basically.
How does it feel now?
Pretty crazy, but since I know like about the prophecies, I kind of expected it. I was in the military, and obviously when Trudeau, I did 24 years in the military, and when Trudeau took over, I couldn't take it anymore. Like about 6 months later, I got out, and I started working like elsewhere, basically teaching the military. But so for a while now, I kind of knew like what Trudeau was all about, and now we're seeing it. Like it's pretty sad that a lot of people don't see it. Like even Christians, like the caller earlier from Canada as well. I think Calgary. I forgot her name, but it's pretty sad to see that even within the church, like. You have to convince people, kind of, or try convincing people that this is what's going on. But hopefully it's going to lead to a great awakening, I guess.
So as a Christian, you're not surprised, and as someone with many years of military experience, you're not surprised. But what's the vibe like amongst, friends and I guess when you go to the store or whatever you're doing? Does it feel different in Canada now? Because I seem to compare it to like what we experienced for 9/11, how it felt totally different the next day. And even though I was young when that happened, it just felt different going to Walmart. It was like a different country all of a sudden.
Yeah, I know what
What's
you
it
mean.
like there?
It's a little. Oh, yeah, sorry. I was going to say it's a little early now to. I didn't go anywhere really to feel this, but I just wanted, before I forget, about those green guys that you've shown on that pictures, on that picture, and we've seen videos. I actually have a brother-in-law that's what he does. He's one of the top in Canada, basically. He goes to court, and he's a riot guy, basically, for the police, and he's been doing this for a long time, teaching them and everything. So I could get the answer. I tried getting the answer before calling, but he didn't get back to me yet. But I'm thinking these might be just the Sûreté du Québec, SQ. I don't want to a rumor there, a rumor. I don't want to say anything that it's not, but it might be these guys. They're the number ones in Quebec, basically, that do it. And they've dealt with many, so maybe that's why they don't put any identifications, because that's these guys. That's all they do. But
so it would be kind of like our SWAT people. It would be like SWAT or a special police force that does this type of thing, and that could be their uniform. That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay,
and
that's good to know,
basically, to make sure that they don't get identified or whatever could happen later. That might be it is. But like I said, that green is it's like Green Army is pretty much their uniform. So that could be, but I'm not 100% sure. So I'll confirm for sure, and I'll get back to you though. Offline though, but yeah.
We will be anxiously waiting on more information from you, Pascal.
Yeah, we appreciate your call and
so
the
I just
information.
wanted to share that. It's very sad, because that was the best 3 weeks of, for 10 years probably. People could feel the energy and the hope, and now, everything, but obviously we trust in God. We never trust in the truckers, like people try to say. Some Christians say, I don't trust in the truckers, you should trust in God. Yes, of course, but it was nice to see so many non-Christians. You'd have pastors talking and preaching, and basically, obviously, people would be yelling freedom and back freedom, but you could see non-Christians screaming Jesus as well when people were. So it was a nice feel. It seemed like Canada was getting back towards Christianity, so that was a good feeling for 3 weeks, for sure. Gave us hope in people in Canada. So to me, it's hope for a revival when they see everything that's happening right now. So
Amen.
That's all we have to take it, I guess.
Amen. Well, thank you for your call, Pascal. We certainly appreciate it. Look forward to getting that additional information from you, from your brother-in-law. So we'll be looking for that. I know you'll be.
Thanks again, guys, for talking about us. We have to make it famous so that this never happens again, maybe.
Yep. All right. Thank you, brother. All right, let's go to Nadil in Canada. Nadil, welcome to End of the Age. We're getting close to being short on time, so if you can get straight to your question, we'll do our best to respond quickly.
Do you hear me?
We can hear you.
Oh, hi. Thank you. The question is, by the way, we lost the battle, I believe, in Canada, but the war will be won in the name of Jesus. We'll be fine.
Amen.
The question, beloved, is this. Tarshish and her cubs in Ezekiel 38. Canada, now I done a lot of research, and it almost seems that England is Tarshish. Well, I'm from Lebanon, by the way. I learned about Tarshish right in my early grades before I came to Canada, because the Phoenicians, our great, that's our ancestry. They used to do, go with their ships to Tarshish and do economic trade.
And how long
is
have you been in
part of
Canada now,
Tarshish? I'm
Nabil?
just wondering if we will be with United States or fighting United States in that Armageddon war.
Did you catch that, Doug?
Yeah, I think what he said was, will they be involved against the United States in Armageddon? Of course, the battle won't be against the United States. It'll be against Israel. It'll be all the nations coming down against Israel. And from what I understand...
I agree with you. I agree with you. But are we going to be, in First World War, Second World War, our men went with you.
Mm-hmm.
Are we going to be with you fighting the Antichrist, or we will be with the Antichrist with England? England now will be against you in Israel, right?
Right. Based on Revelation 13, what we see there is we see the UN nations, the EU nations, the lion, the leopard, the bear, so Russia, Germany, and England coming down against Israel at that battle. Of course, the eagle's wings, we believe, is America, and we believe that is who is helping Israel there during that time of the tribulation. But we're not going to be there during the time of the Battle of Armageddon when everything really gets ramped up, because at that point, Israel will only be able to call upon the Lord. But we don't have information that shows us where Canada is aligned, as far as I know, as far as I understand right now. But what we're seeing in Canada is we're seeing this move toward one world government, and it appears as though the players are set in place for the Great Reset, according to Klaus Schwab. And so unless there is a change there in your government, it looks like Canada will line up with the one world order. If this is indeed beginning to happen, as we're seeing like Australia and New Zealand, and we're seeing these people being put in place politically by an outside entity, it looks like these people are beginning to line up with that ideal of one world government and the Great Reset.
Nabil, we appreciate your call. We have 30 seconds left, so I've got to cut you off. We appreciate you calling in and asking that question. Doug, thank you so much. We do have two more stories that we wanted to share, didn't get to, but you can search them. It's about trucks being seized from the convoy protesters, and also from the Daily Wire. There's an exclusive poll where they're saying the Democrats in America back Trudeau's crackdown. So you definitely want to go read those stories. We'll be back here tomorrow at 3 p.m. Don't forget to go to watch.endtime.com and take advantage of the 222 deal.
This has been End of the Age, brought to you by the faithful partners of Endtime Ministries. If you're not currently a partner with Endtime Ministries, or if you would like more information, we invite you to call us at 1-800-ENDTIME. That's 1-800-363-8463, or visit us online at endtime.com.
Thank you for watching. If you liked this video, subscribe to our YouTube channel and like our Facebook page.